and how his faith made him to believe in God to the extent that he was going to make his son as a sacrifice to the Lord. But God stopped him at the right time, and at the end of it, he sacrificed a lamb instead of his son. So now we are going to see how Isaac got a wife. Alright, let's jump in. After the death of his mother Sarah, Isaac was lonely. Abraham wanted to find a wife for him, but he didn't want him to marry a girl from the people around them. Such a woman would worship idols and not teach her children the way of the Lord. Abraham called his most trusted servant, who took care of his silver and gold and flocks and herds. He sent him far away to Haran. He wanted him to find a wife for his son Isaac among the people who worship the true God. With 10 camels and many presents, the servant started the long journey. He traveled with confidence because his master Abraham had said that God would send an angel before him. At last, he at last near the city of Haran. That evening he stood to pray at the well just outside the city. He knew the girls would soon come to draw water. But how was he to know which girl was the right one for Isaac? Oh God, he prayed, help me know which is the right girl. Let her say, drink, and I will give water to your camels also. Then I will know she is the one you have chosen. While he was praying, a beautiful young woman came to the well with a pitcher on her shoulder. He asked her for water, and she answered, drink, my lord, and I will draw water for your camels also. It was the very words he had prayed to hear. After she had provided water for all, the young woman said, my name is Rebecca. Come to our house. We have room for you. servant bowed his head and thanked God for his faithfulness. The next morning, Rebecca agreed to go home with to be Isaac's wife. When Isaac saw her, he loved her and she became his wife. They were faithful to each other as long as they both lived. After Abraham died, God was very kind to Isaac and blessed him. However, Isaac's wife Rebekah had no children. For 19 years, Isaac prayed endlessly for a child, and God answered his prayer. Twin boys, Esau and Jacob, were born to Isaac and Rebekah. Esau grew up to be a hunter. He was rough and covered with hair. Jacob was quiet and thoughtful. He stayed at home and took care of his father's flocks, and Isaac loved Esau more than Jacob because he looked the deer meat that Esau brought him. But Rebekah loved Jacob more. In those days, the oldest son in every family had what was called the birthright. This made him the chief among all the children, and he received a special blessings. Esau, Esau, as the older, had a birthright to more of Isaac's possession than Jacob had. One day, when Esau came home hungry and tired from hunting, he asked for a bowl of Jacob's soup. Jacob answered, I will give it to you if you first sell me your birthright. Esau answered, what is the use of the birthright? I am almost starving. So he sold it to Jacob for a bowl of soup. Isaac was now becoming feeble and almost blind. One day he said to Esau, go out into the field and hunt for a deer. Make me the dish of meat I like best and bring it to me. Then I will give you the blessings. Rebecca was listening, and she wanted Jacob to have the blessings. She dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes and put goat skin on his arms and neck, so Isaac would think it was Esau. Then she sent Jacob into Isaac's den with the meat she had prepared. Isaac ate and blessed Jacob instead of Esau. Rebekah's blood had worked. Jacob flees Esau discovered that he had lost his blessings, he was very angry. He said, "Soon my father will die, and then I will kill you, Jacob." When Rebekah heard this, she said to Jacob, "Leave home and get out of Esau's sight before it is too late. Perhaps when he no longer sees you, he will forget his anger." Jacob left home, beginning his long journey alone to Haran. One evening at sunset, he stopped to rest for the night. He took some stones for a pillow and lay down to sleep. That night, he had a wonderful dream. He saw stairs leading up to heaven from the earth, and angels were coming down and going up on the stairs. At the top of the stairs, he saw the Lord God standing. The Lord said to Jacob, "The land where are you shall be yours and your children's after you. I will take good care of you and will bring you back again to this land." In the morning, Jacob woke up and said, "The Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. I thought I was all alone. This place is the house of God. It is the gate of heaven." Jacob made a pillar with the stones he had used for his pillow. He poured oil on it for a thank offering to God. Then Jacob journeyed on until at last he came over to a well near the city of Han. While waiting at the well, he met Rachel, his own cousin. He was so glad that he wept for joy. At that moment, Jacob began to love Rachel. He longed to have her for his wife. While Jacob stayed in Haran, he wanted Rachel, the daughter of Laban, for his wife. Jacob told Laban, "I will work for you 7 years if you will give me Rachel." Laban agreed. On the day of the wedding, the bride was brought to Jacob, as was the custom in the land. She was covered with a thick veil, so her face could not be seen. They were married, but later, when Jacob lifted the veil, he found that he had not married Rachel, whom he loved. He was sister, sorry, it was her older sister, Leah, whom he did not love at all. Jacob was very upset that he had been deceived, though he himself had deceived his father in much same way. The same stone came back to him, though he had deceived his father same way. I like that. What you do, it always come back to you. That's what they say. But Laban said, in our land we do not allow the younger to marry before the older. I will give you Rachel also if you work for me another 7 years. Jacob agreed to this, and Rachel also became his wife. After serving his uncle Laban for 20 years, Jacob gathered together his family and possession and left Haran. On the way back to his homeland, Canaan, he had news that filled him with fear. He heard that his brother Esau was coming with 400 men. Jacob remembered that Esau had threatened to kill him. That night, Jacob sent his family across a brook while he stayed behind to pray. While Jacob was alone, he felt a man take hold of him. Jacob wrestled with this strange man until morning. The man was an angel of God. He blessed Jacob and changed his name to Israel. When Israel met Esau, they made peace with each other. After Jacob came back to the land of Canaan, his younger son Benjamin was born. Now Jacob had 12 sons. Of all Jacob's children, Joseph was his favorite. He loved Joseph because he was Rachel's child and because he was the son of his old age. Joseph was also a good boy, faithful and thoughtful. Jacob made Joseph a special coat, a mark of his favorite to Joseph. It made his older brothers very jealous. One day, Joseph said, listen to this dream. I dreamed we were out in the field binding sheaves when suddenly my shaft stood up. It stood up Joseph said, I have dreamed again. This time I saw the sun and the moon and 12 stars came and bowed down to me. Now Joseph's brothers hated him more than ever. They would not speak kindly to him, but his father gave much thought to what Joseph had said. One time, Joseph's brothers were taking care of their flocks far away from home. Jacob asked Joseph to go see whether all was well with them. When Joseph's brothers saw him coming, they said, Look, here comes the dreamer. Let's kill him. But Reuben, Joseph, and persuade the others to put him into a nearby pit instead. He planned later return Joseph to his father. While they sat down to eat their dinner, a group of Armenian Russians came down the road. The brothers decided to sell Joseph to Egypt. He was very sad. Then the brother, then the brothers killed a goat and dipped Joseph's special coat into the blood. When their father Jacob saw the bloody goat, he thought Joseph had been killed by a wild beast. He mourned for Joseph. Hello, programmer. Hi. Welcome, programmer. After many days, Joseph arrived in Egypt. How strange it must have seemed for him to see the great Nile River and the cities full of people. The merchant sold Joseph as a slave to Potiphar, an officer in the army of Pharaoh. I said hello to you. How are you? Who was ruler of Egypt? Joseph was a handsome boy with pleasant and willing spirit. His master Potiphar soon placed Joseph in charge of all his house. At first, Potiphar's wife was very friendly to Joseph. But when Joseph would not do wrong to please her, she became his enemy. She falsely accused Joseph of doing a wicked deed. Potiphar believed her story and had Joseph cast into dark prison. Joseph had faith in God. In prison, he was cheerful, kind, and helpful. Soon, because of his faithfulness and honesty, the keeper of the prison put Joseph in charge of all the prisoners. Imagine you're in the prison and you are the boss and you're a prisoner at the same time. When Joseph was 30 years old, Potiphar, Pharaoh had a dream that troubled him greatly. One of his servants told him about Joseph. Immediately, Pharaoh called for Joseph and said, I understand what you can interpret dreams. Joseph answered, of myself I am not able to do it, but God will give Pharaoh a good answer. Pharaoh said that in his dream, 7 nice fat cows came up out of a river. Then 7 thin cows ate up the 7 fat cows, but they still looked thin, poor, and miserable. Then Joseph said to the king, your dream means there will be 7 very good years, followed by 7 very poor years. The king should appoint someone to store much food in the 7 good years. Right away, the king appointed Joseph and made him the second most powerful ruler in Egypt. God had not forgotten his friend Joseph. Joseph was made ruler over the land of Egypt and did his work faithfully and thoroughly. 7 years of plenty soon slipped by. Then began 7 years of famine. Even in the land of Canaan where Joseph's family lived, food was scarce. His father Jacob heard that there was corn in Egypt and sent Joseph's 10 brothers to get some. When the brothers arrived in Egypt and came before Joseph, they did not realize who he was, but Joseph recognized them. As the brothers bowed before him with their faces to the ground, no doubt Joseph remembered his dreams. He decided to treat his brothers harshly to see if they were still as selfish and cruel as they had been. So he talked harshly to them as if he were a stranger. He put them all in prison for 3 days, accusing them of being spies. After this, he kept Simon in prison while the others went home. Jacob told him not to come back unless Benjamin, their younger brother, came with them. Soon the corn was gone, and the brothers had no choice but to go to Egypt, bowed to Joseph. A dinner was prepared for them, and Joseph arranged the seating for his brothers. He placed them all in order, from the oldest to the youngest. The brothers marveled. How could this foreign ruler know the order of their ages? By this time, Joseph's heart was so full that he could not keep back his tears. He hurried to his own room to cry. After testing his brother's honesty one more time, Joseph knew they were no longer cruel and selfish. He sent his servant out of the room. He wept alone and said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Joseph, with love and tears of joy, kissed his brothers. Joseph sent wagons and much food home with his brothers and told them to bring his father and all his family to live in Egypt. During Joseph's lifetime, the Egyptians treated the people of Israel kindly. Sometimes, after Joseph died, a king who carried nothing for Joseph or the Israelites began to rule Egypt. This king said, let us rule these Israelites more strictly and make them work hard for Egypt. He was afraid the Israelites would become too strong, numerous, and powerful. He commanded that all the Israel's baby boys be killed. At this crucial time, a lovely little boy was born to an Israelite family. For a while, his mother had him, but soon she had to make other plan for her active, noisy baby. How could she save him from the Egyptians? Surely God would provide a way. She made a little ark or basket from tall weeds that grow by the river. She covered it with pitch to keep out the water. Then she put her baby into the basket and placed it among the bushes at the edge of the river. She also sent her 12 years old daughter, Miriam, to watch close by. Soon, Pharaoh's daughter and her maids came down to the river to bath, and they spotted the basket. The princess sent her maid to get it. When they opened the basket, the little baby began to cry. This is an Israelite baby, the princess exclaimed. She loved him at once. Then Miriam, who had been watching, asked if she should get a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby. The princess agreed, and Miriam ran to get her mother. When Miriam's mother came, Pharaoh's daughter said, "Take this child, nurse him, and I will pay you for it." So the mother happily took the child home again. There she taught him all the ways of the Lord. When the child was old enough to leave his mother, the princess took him into her own home in the palace. She named him Moses. Moses grew up among the Egyptians and learned their wisdom, but in, but in his heart he still loved his own people, the Israelites, whom were now poor slaves, yet they served the Lord God, while the Egyptian worshipped idols and animals. Moses felt a call from God to help the Israelites. When Pharaoh's, the ruler of Egypt, heard about his effort to free them from slavery, he became very angry. Moses fled to another country when Pharaoh tried to kill him. There he became a shepherd. One day, Moses saw a strange sight. A bush was burning on the mountainside. Though it kept on burning, it was not destroyed. As Moses approached the bush, the angel of the Lord appeared in the flame. A voice called, "Moses, do not come near. Take off your shoes, for you are standing on the holy ground." Moses replied, "What if the Lord asks, 'Who is this God? What is his name?'" God answered Moses, "Say to them, 'The I Am has sent me, the one who is always living.'" But Moses wanted to see a special sign, so God performed two miracles. First, he told Moses to throw his rod on the ground. When Moses obeyed, the rod became a serpent. Next, God allowed Moses' hand to become diseased with leprosy. Then the Lord turned the serpent back into a rod and healed the diseased hand. Still, Moses was unwilling to go because he thought he could not speak well enough. God answered him, "I am not I, the Lord, who made man's mouth. I will teach you what to say." Still, Moses hesitated. Then God said to Moses, "Brother, At least Moses yelled to God's call. God sent Aaron to meet Moses, and together they headed toward Egypt. They gathered the elders of Israel and told them all the Lord had said. Till here, guys, we are gonna stop here tonight. We are stopping here tonight, and I will see you tonight, tomorrow. I hope you enjoy your reading tonight, and I pray you have a faithful and fruitful day. And to those who are going to sleep, have a lovely night and stay blessed. Remember, the Lord said,